So we've come to the 15th chapter, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, also known as Purushottam Yoga. It's an amazing chapter, absolutely incredible chapter. This chapter describes our world, the material world. It also describes the spiritual world, what it's like. It describes who we are. It describes who God is, and it describes how we get to God. So this is a fantastic chapter. So let's go through it. And many devotees know this chapter. It's only got 20 verses. Mind you, these 20 verses, some of them are a little hard, a little challenging. The ultimate purpose of Vedic knowledge is to detach oneself from the entanglement of the material world. So this is what Vedic knowledge actually gives us, this information, how to become detached from this world, stop being stuck in this world. And also to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or one of his avatars. One who understands Krishna's supreme identity, that person will surrender onto the Lord and do bhakti, do engage in seva. Krishna, in this chapter, uses a wonderful analogy to create detachment within the spiritualist and fuel his desire to go back to the spiritual world. So he uses a really amazing example. Now, you probably all seen this Mr. Bean video, right? Or movie or series, where he checks into a hotel, and I can't remember exactly now, but he takes off the wallpaper, paints the walls, and brings his paintings and nails them to the wall and things like that. Now, imagine someone checking into their holiday hotel room like that, and paint the walls, buy new furniture, refit the kitchen or the bathroom, and hang up family pictures. Right? If somebody does that in a hotel room where he's going to stay one night or 2 nights, that's ludicrous. That's madness. You don't make arrangements for long-term comfort in a temporary residence, right? So in the same way, this world is likened to a hotel room within which people make complicated plans for security and enjoyment. It's laughable almost. It's laughable, but we're really doing that, unfortunately. Anyway, the themes of this chapter are: this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Krishna gives a glimpse into the spiritual world. Okay, hang on a sec. It's not, for some reason, it's not showing. Hang on, let me just stop share and reshare it. Okay. Krishna also shows us he maintains us at every level, right? We shouldn't think that we are looking after ourselves. Krishna is actually looking after everything for us. And also Krishna describes the different types of living entities. So these are the themes, really important chapter. So let's read. Meera, first on the bottom. Yes.
Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." Text 2. The branches of this tree extend downwards and upwards, nourished by the 3 modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive activities of human society. Texts 3 to 4. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began, and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial.
Immemorial. Yeah, good. So Krishna is explaining here, he's using an analogy of a tree that is upside down. The roots are going upwards. Normally the roots would go down, right? And the branches are going downwards. Normally the branches would go upwards. Now, he's explaining also that this tree, the real form of this is like a reflection in water. That's why it's upside down. But the real form of the tree, very difficult to perceive it in this world. However, with determination, one can chop this tree down with the weapon of detachment. Right? This is where he's coming from. So let's, you might as well finish this verse as well, Mira.
Text 5. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom.
Very good. So let's summarize these 5 verses. Just as a banyan tree has a reflection in water, the spiritual world also has its reflection, the material world. So this material world is simply a reflection of the real world, and it's upside down. While they may look similar from a distance, the spiritual world is where reality, substance, and true satisfaction is found. So the reflection in the water of the tree is not a real thing. But from a distance, it looks similar to the tree, but it's upside down. On the other hand, the reflected tree of the material world is complicated, intricate, completely topsy-turvy, since the roots are upwards and the branches are downwards. Bird-like individuals frantically search for juicy fruits on the reflected trees. So this is like us, the bird-like. We dance from one branch to another to try to get some juice out of this world. But the substance which brings satisfaction seems to be lacking. We're never going to be happy in this world. Why? Because we are always looking for permanent happiness in a temporary world. So Krishna urges the reader to cut down this illusory tree or with the weapon of detachment and the futile endeavors for permanent fulfillment in this temporary fantasy world. So, lesson to learn from this. Consider this place as a hotel rather than our home, where we are only temporarily staying. Right? We're not going to be here for very long, not in this body. Right? We'll keep changing. So this body, take it as a hotel room. We're in here for a little while. If we think this is permanent, of course we're going to be in for a shock, because nothing's permanent in this world. Even this body will one day perish. That day will come. It may not be for a few years, but it will come. Now, this is a little illustration of what Krishna has explained. Right? So this is the spiritual world, the real world, and ours is it's a reflection of the spiritual world. But here, the roots go downwards and the branches go upwards. And if you see here, the further the branches go down, the darker it gets. So this sort of the bottom part of this picture represents the mode of ignorance, like that. Impious acts, you can see here. The higher you go, the more realized you are in the mode of goodness, slowly beginning to understand that this world is a temporary world, and actually we belong in this spiritual world. I won't go through all these. I'll put it on the group. But just to understand that this world is a temple, and we are jumping from one branch to another branch, trying to enjoy the fruits in this world, thinking that they will give us permanent happiness. But whatever we get in this world never gives us permanent satisfaction. And we'll experience that as we're going along in life. We get the latest gadget, PlayStation, whatever it is nowadays. But then a new one comes out, and our best buddy's got a new one, and we haven't. We're way behind. We were happy, and now suddenly we're not happy. So that's the way of this world. Okay. Ishwari and Kishori.
Should we do half each?
Let's have a look. Maybe you do 3 and 3. 3 verses, and then there's another 3 verses.
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 6. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Text 7. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. Text 8. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Text 9. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Text 10. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Text 11. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try.
Thank you very much, Kishori. So, summary of verses 6 to 11. Krishna gives a glimpse of the spiritual world, right? So what's the glimpse? He's telling us his abode is not illumined by the sun or the moon. It's self-illuminous, nor is it by fire or electricity. And then he talks about, so he gives a hint about this spiritual world, showing how its nature is perfect, complete, fully satisfying to all. Having once gone there, one never returns to that world, to this world, sorry, never return back to this material world. Here in the material realm, an individual hops from tree to tree and acquiring various material bodies based on worldly desires that cultivate throughout life. At the time of death, through the subtle workings of reincarnation, one receives a body which is tailor-made to facilitate such desires. So if our desires are animalistic, we like to sleep a lot, for example. That's all we want to do, sleep, 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 sleep. That's animal consciousness. Like a bear likes to sleep a lot. 6 months a year, he'll sleep. So if that's our consciousness, that's our karma, and that's our desire, we want to sleep, then material natures will fulfill our desire. And we'll get a body suitable for what we want to do. Right? Man proposes, God disposes. There's different life situations are meant to teach us a simple lesson. We're looking for the right thing, happiness. Everybody's looking for happiness. Nobody's looking for unhappiness, right? But unhappiness comes naturally. Why? Because we're looking in the wrong place. So the previous lesson was that this home is a temporary world, treat it like a hotel. But this lesson is learn that our real home is a spiritual world. That's where we belong. That's where we're meant to be. We're a bit of like fish out of water. We're struggling in this world, trying to find happiness, but it's so elusive, so elusive. I often joke, I don't know if I said this last week, but I really enjoy going to schools and somewhat teasing the school children that we'll never find happiness in this world. And I give them 5 or 6 examples. You can't play PlayStation all day long. You can't eat sweets and chocolates all day. You can't eat pizza every day. You can't watch television all day. You have to come to school. You have to do chores. And he always winds them up. Well, this is the material world. Pretty much sums it up that in this world, there's no question of happiness. We might think we're happy, but actually it's always going to be short-lived, because at some point, even if we have all of the possessions in this world that we need, all of the friends and the relatives, nice place to stay, nice car, whatever we have, it's all going to be disappearing at the time of death. Everything changes. It's a big hard stop. All right, let's go further. Akasha.
Text 12. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. Text 13. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Text 14. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. Text 15. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Thank you. These 4 verses are so amazing. Really describes how Krishna provides so much for us, and we don't even care 2 hoots about it. Don't thank him at all. Anyway, let's have a look at the summary, and then we look at these verses a little bit more closely. One who is entangled within the reflected tree of material existence can develop his Krishna or God consciousness by appreciating Krishna as the maintainer on all levels. Yeah. Very, very important to understand and thank the Lord every single day. He maintains our gross physical body by arranging fundamental resources that provide the energy of life. Right? For example, he says, I am the splendor of the sun. Without the sunlight, where would we be? If even one day the sun didn't appear, we'd be completely lost. He also enters the moon, and he supplies the juice of life to vegetables. If we didn't have vegetables and fruits and grains and beans, we couldn't survive. So even our ghost body, he looks after so well. Then he also says, he also maintains our subtle capacities by facilitating knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So let's have a look at that. Before that, we can look at this point here. He is the fire of digestion. When we eat, do we know how that food is being digested? We don't know. We don't know how that works, how the insides of our bodies work. Not on an individual level. We may have some scientific ideas how it works, but actually, Krishna is explaining, I am the fire of digestion. So after we eat, we may go to sleep. While we're sleeping, the fire of digestion, as Krishna, is working hard to digest the food that we're eating. If the food didn't get digested, we would be in big trouble. Couldn't survive too many days without food getting digested. And then he says about the subtle aspects, from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. This forgetfulness is actually very important. For example, we can't remember our previous lives. That's a really good blessing. If we remembered our previous lives, we would be forever engaged in thoughts of revenge and lamentation. So it's a really good thing we don't remember. But he also gives us remembrance. He also gives us knowledge. Okay. So he also explains how, most importantly, he maintains our spirituality by offering ways and means to achieve self-realization and escape the dangerous cycle of repeated birth and death. So that's where he's saying, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of the Vedas. So this is really, these 4 verses are so amazing. Krishna is basically saying he's always our maintainer. So that's a lesson to learn. Yeah. We shouldn't think that I am the cause of everything that's around me. Because of me, things are happening. That's really false ego. It's not a good thing to be doing, thinking like that. Krishna is actually maintaining everything very kindly. All right, last one. Manhar.
Text 16. There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Text 17. Besides these 2, there is the greatest living personality, the supreme supersoul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered 3 worlds and is maintaining them. Text 18. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. Text 19. Whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engaged himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Text 20. This is the most confidential part of the Vedics, O sinless one, and it's disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know.
Will know perfection.
Perfect.
So this is the end of chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga. Again, this is such an amazing part of the chapter. Every time I read this chapter, every time I learn this chapter, every time I teach this chapter, it brings so much happiness because Krishna gives everything in this chapter. The 15th chapter is something else. So let's just do the final bit and then we can see what else there needs to be done. So summary of 16 to 20. Previously, Krishna summarized the Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses in the 10th chapter. Now he again summarizes the teachings in 3 verses. So he's saying, fallible living entity, that's us. We've dropped into this tree of material existence because of an independent desire to enjoy. Yeah, we've wanted to enjoy. And we've come into this world, we've become fallible. We are different from the infallible living entities, Akasha, and we have Akasha here, who never leave the spiritual realm due to their undeviated desire to be the Lord. But we can also go from being fallible to infallible. It's not that we are always excluded. So we can go from this material world back to the spiritual world. It's not easy, but we can do it. And beyond both these living entities, there's a third. That's the Supreme Lord. Thus, in yet another passage, Krishna reinforces the living entity can never become God, since even liberated souls have their separate identity in this spiritual world. Knowing Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one engages in devotional service, bhakti. So this is such an incredible verses. So first one, he's explaining there's two types of living entities. One who lives in this world is always fallible. One who lives in the spiritual world is always liberated. Apart from those two, there is the Supreme Lord. And you should understand, I am the Supreme Lord, beyond the fallible and the infallible. I am the greatest, and I am celebrated in this world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Now, this is not him being egoistic. He's just stating the facts. This is where his position is. And if those person who understands that engages in worshipping the Supreme Lord, and he becomes free from this world. So this chapter is amazing, absolutely amazing. So the lesson we take from the last part is we can never become God. We're always his servant. But the position of servant is exalted. We should understand that even the Supreme Lord, he also wants to be a servant. When we are serving him, or when the gopis especially are serving Krishna, they're having such a ecstatic moments with the service. He himself, Krishna himself, is wondering, what are the gopis enjoying by serving me so much? I want to taste that enjoyment. So the serving is very relishable. In this world, when you're a servant, it's a demeaning sort of term, you know. You say, he's only a servant. But in the spiritual world, it's the other way around. The servant is often considered more superior than the Supreme Lord. Why? Because love conquers all. It even conquers the Supreme Lord. The love of the service that the servant offers is superior to the Supreme. And that's why it's said that Srimati Radharani controls the Supreme Lord, because she loves him so much. He cannot understand how is it possible for this amazing personality to love me so much. And whatever she says, he does, because he's trying to understand that love. That's why she controls him. All right, that's chapter 15. We've got a bit of time for questions today. So please fire away any questions that you have. You can raise your hand and I'll pick. Yes, Ishwari, Kishori.
Strangely, Prabhuji, we only have one question. In one of the previous lessons, you said that this world was like a hospital, and now you're saying it's like a hotel. So is it both, or is it just one of them?
No, it's both. It's both. We also say it's a prison. And the prison housekeeper is Durga Mata. Her job is to keep us here. She'll only let people who are devotees back to the spiritual world. So she's got a fantastically important role. But it's both. It's I personally like the example of it being a hospital, because we're diseased. Once we're cured, we go back. Just like in this world, there are only a few hospitals, right? Most people live outside. So when we have to go to hospital, The doctors are there, the medicine is there, the cure is there. They cure that patient, and then the patient is led back out into the spiritual world, into the outside society. So my personal favorite is that example. But this hotel example is very much akin to the example Krishna gives in this chapter, how this material world is a temporary place where there is no enjoyment. So it's just giving the same example, it's a similar example, but just it's taking a different route. The hospital route is getting cured. The hotel route is trying to enjoy, but never finding enjoyment in this world. You see the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah. But both
Also,
examples are suitable. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Could we have the quiz number, because sometimes it takes a while for it.
Yes, good idea, actually.
If they're ready, obviously.
It's ready, but I think if we still got quite a lot of time, because what we don't want to do is get people distracted and they go into that, and so you'll have enough time. We'll give you good 10 minutes, okay? Akasha.
I have two questions, Prabhuji. The
Yes.
first one is, what does exalted mean?
What does what?
Exalted.
Exalted. Okay, exalted means somebody who's very elevated.
Okay.
A great personality, exalted, very nice, very high level.
Okay. Also, who are the doctors of the hospital then?
Okay, a wonderful question. Doctors are three-pronged. There's three. One, the guru, the spiritual master, who takes responsibility for the disciple. Second are the scriptures, the holy books. And third are the devotees, the Vaishnavas, the people who encourage you to do seva, either at home or in the temple. These are the three principal doctors, if you like, in this material world. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra.
Okay, thank you.
Very good question. Veda.
So, Prabhuji, why is the material world created?
Okay. Why were the three modes of material nature created? Good question. So that in this world, we can act, we can, according to our desires, perform actions which will fit within those three modes. The reason the three modes were created were to give us that ability to act, but to gradually go to the highest level and then get out of this world. So they're not here simply to bind us in this world. They're here to actually elevate us to the next world.
And how did Lord Krishna get all his powers, like all the powers he used to be avatars, create the material world and all stuff?
How does he get his powers? He is the source of the powers. He himself is the powerhouse. It's not that the power is separate from him. It comes from the Supreme Lord. It's already within him. And that for us is a little hard to grasp, because in this world, we see, a child being born and then slowly developing strength, intelligence, is able to, crawl and then sort of slowly walk and then run. We see the different transformations, but God has no such transformations. He's always been all powerful, It's always been in existence. And because we are used to seeing beginning, middle, and end, for us to completely grasp this concept that God is always had this power and always is powerful is a little hard to understand. But just take it on faith that God is always Satchit Ananda Vigraha, he's known as eternal, Chit, full of knowledge, and Ananda, always happy.
And why does actually Lord Krishna come in different avatars? Is it because
good.
he needs to make pastime?
Yeah, because what he's so magnanimous, he's so generous. If you want to worship God in a certain way, he'll facilitate that. He's so kind-hearted. If you want to worship him in a certain mood, he will make that happen. As long as your mood of worship is completely pure, he will make it happen. So he takes avatars in so many different forms, unlimitedly. Millions and billions of avatars come because he wants to fulfill our desires. He loves us so much. He'll do anything for us. So, really good question, Veda. Very good question. Srinitya, how are you doing, Srinitya?
My question was, why are there hidden avatars of Vishnu, like Chaitanya?
Nice question. Why are there hidden avatars? Well, he came because in Kali Yuga, he knew many people will claim to be God. In Kali Yuga, there's a God on every street corner. But he wanted to show that in Kali Yuga, actually, nobody should really be accepted as God. Because in Kali Yuga, it's very easy to fool people. That's why he came as a hidden avatar. You have to look hard to find him. But
so would people just think he was an ordinary person?
Yeah, they might. And even if they do, as long as they love him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't have to think of Chaitanya as the Supreme Lord. We can worship him as a devotee, and that's good enough. In fact, that's better. It's better to worship Chaitanya as a devotee of the Lord rather than the Supreme Lord. Because as a devotee of the Lord, he can open so many doors for us. He's very kind-hearted.
And is Balaram an avatar of Vishnu?
According to the Brahma Samhita, one of the scriptures that has a lot of importance in our tradition, Balaram is the first avatar of Krishna. So Krishna is known as Avatari, the source of all the avatars. And the very first avatar is Balaram. And from Balaram actually comes Vishnu.
So Balaram is not an avatar of Vishnu?
No, that's correct. And I will just see if I can find any more questions. I'll just find the chart which shows that, which is really interesting. Any other questions, Sunitya?
Yes. So why? So what do you mean by this material world is a hotel? It's not like it's a real hotel with thousands and thousands and thousands of rooms stacked upon each other.
Okay, just 1 second. I found it. This is a tree, family tree of God. Okay.
I can't see it.
Can you see it now? I can see it.
I can't see it at
Can anybody
all.
else see it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I can.
I
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see it.
So let me just try again, Srinitya, see if you can find this, right?
Roji, always show me this chart.
Yes, right. So Srinitya, can you see this chart?
No.
Oh dear. Anyway, it shows that from Krishna
It's
comes
somewhere
Balaram.
internet show because we can all
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So from Balaram comes the different quadruple expansions, and then from Sankarsan comes Narayan, and from Narayan comes another quadruple expansion, and from that second Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu. So Vishnu is a long way down the chain from Krishna, long way down. So your second question, is this an example? It's never a perfect example, but we're just using this as an example that if you were staying in a hotel room and you decided to take off the wallpaper and paint the walls and put in new furniture and put new pictures, you'd be crazy. In fact, there is a very nice comedy by Mr. Bean, one of the episodes. And if you get a chance, watch it, Srinitya. He goes into this hotel room and he starts peeling things off. You laugh your head off. And that's exactly our position in this material world. We're treating this place as a permanent place, but it's not. It's a temporary place, like a hotel. Akasha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have 2 questions.
Okay, before we do that, let's just ask Pari. Pari, kindly put the link for Kahoot on the chat, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thanks very much. Yes, Akasha.
Yeah, this is Riha. And
Riha,
why was
thank you.
the material world created?
Okay. Why is this world created in the first place?
Yeah.
In order to facilitate our desires to be fulfilled. Our desires were not spiritual. They wanted to be away, apart from Krishna, away from Krishna. So he's created this material world where we can live without Krishna in essence, right? We think we can. Of course, we know he tells us, I am the splendor of the sun. I give the juice to the vegetables through the moon. He actually maintains everything anyway. But for us, it looks like, hey, we don't actually need God. God is dead, We can go to work, earn money and pay the bills and, buy food, cook it. We can do everything. Who needs God, That's our mentality when we came to this world. So he created this world so that facilitate that mentality to exist, so that we can fulfill our desires. He will fulfill our desires. Just like you want to worship in a certain way, he'll fulfill that desire. You want to not worship him at all, he'll fulfill that desire as well. This is the kindness of the Lord. So in this world, he's created it so that we can live in it in many ways without sometimes even thinking about God, because we want to forget him. But he's never forgotten us. This is the whole point. This material world is perfectly imperfect, right? It's perfectly imperfect. No matter how hard we try, we'll never be happy. So it's perfect in that sense. It's perfect that it is totally imperfect. So why is it made in that way? So that eventually we will realize, oh my dear Lord, I have been looking for happiness in the wrong place. It's like a hospital, we're mentally ill and the cure is given by the doctors to get us back into normal society again. So in this world, we're in this hospital. We will get cured one day and go back to a spiritual world. And this is what Bhagavad Gita does, gives us the cure, and the devotees and the sadhus, the guru. Does that make sense, Ria?
Yeah, that makes sense. Akasha wants to ask you a question as well.
Of course.
So I know we're the patients in the hospital, but what does the animals and well, the plants kind of give us oxygen, but what do the animals do then?
What do the animals
Do?
Oh, very good question. Excellent question. There was a scientist. Hang on a sec. There's a scientist who's done some research about what difference. Denu, please close your mic. Scientists have done research. What difference will it make to this world if humans didn't exist, right? And what difference does it make to this world if one or two of the species of animals didn't exist? So they came to the conclusion, if humans did not exist, this world would flourish. This world would flourish. But if one or two animal species weren't existing, this world would struggle. Some of them would be missing from this world. So animals contribute a great deal, just like you said. Animals would, if animals being extinct or not being present makes this world a less pleasant place to live. Humans not being present in this world makes this world a better place to live. So our existence isn't to help the environment. Our existence is. Denu, I'm going to put you in the waiting room if you continue like this. Okay, so our existence is to find a higher purpose in existence, right? So yes, animals have an existence. They would make, if any species left or were not in existence anymore, this world would struggle, would suffer somewhat. And also, because we ourselves have animalistic tendencies, especially if we are behaving sinfully, then the bodies of the animals facilitate our existence. So if we have a mood of a bear, which I was, like sleeping all day, then next life we might become a bear and be sleeping. Do you see the point, Akasha?
Yes, that makes more sense. Also, two things to add. Riha's question, I think you explained that to me before, but then I forgot. And then also, I think I heard somewhere, we can disappear from this world and it will become better. But if the animals and plants disappear, then it's just going to, everything would just disappear into black and white.
Perhaps not so drastically, but it would definitely have a negative impact on this world. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right, now let's is everybody in?
Yeah. Prabhuji, I'm not in yet.
Okay, if you just make your way inside the Kahoot, and then Pari, you can of course share your screen. Huh? In the meantime, we have a question. Is this Denu? Is there a question by Denu? Okay, so let's wait for Pari to share her screen.
Yes, probably. I'll share it now. I think everyone has mostly joined. I'm not sure though.
Is everybody in?
No, Prabhuji, I'm just joining.
Okay.
The weather started freezing here. I'm literally wearing a jacket at home, so bad. Okay.
Yes,
okay. Yes, everybody's in, I think.
Okay. I'll start then.
Thank you.
Okay, so chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Okay, chapter 14 is which form of yoga? Purushottama Yoga, Divya Jnana Yoga, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, or Gunatraya Purushottama Yoga?
Good question.
Wow.
Good. Very good.
So one person who got it right. Well done. I think that was Nimai. Well done, Nimai.
Wow.
The three modes of material nature are happiness, passion, ignorance, passion, goodness, disgust, goodness, passion, ignorance, or devotion, agony, and disregard.
Good.
Sorry to interrupt.
Hi,
Yeah.
yeah.
We are unable to see the screen and
We
don't know
can
what
see it
options
our
there
side, Punamataji.
because we couldn't even answer the first question.
Oh,
So,
Srinitya. You mean
yeah,
Srinitya, right? Okay. No, it's your problem on your side. Maybe you log in again
okay. All
because
right.
everybody else can see the screen.
Okay.
Yes, we
All
can
right.
see the screen.
Okay, we'll just log off and log in again.
Yeah.
That's fine. Prabhuji, should I just wait until they...
No, just carry on. Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, so most of you got it right. Well done. True or false? The three modes of nature affect our behavior. Wow, everyone's answered really quick. Well done. Yes, they do. They affect our behavior. Most of you got that right. Another true or false? The three modes of nature don't affect our lifestyle.
Mhm.
Is that true or false?
Mhm.
Well done. 14. So wow, changing the whole scoreboard. Yeah. The three modes affect our attitude. Yep, well done. Again, 14 got it right. So in Sanskrit, guna means mode, behavior, motion, or quality. Wow. Well done, guys. Oh, Rayansh is on top. Sattva gun is mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, or no mode. Yep. Okay. Well done to the 8 people who got it right. So now, so Rajagun is passion, sadness, greed, or pacification. Yep, this one was a better one. Well done. Means passion. Tamogun is disregard, ignorance, happiness, or satisfaction. Relatively fast answers. Well done.
Good, good, yeah.
Goodness does not motivate joy, wisdom, and kindness. Is that true or false? Wow, everyone, yep. So false, indeed. It does actually motivate the three qualities. True or false? Passion confuses and invokes anger, greed, and frustration. Is that true or false? Well done. Lokeshwara, Ishwarya, Kasha with Riyansh on top. True or false? Ignorance does not cause laziness, indifference, and inertia. Well done. Again. And another true or false? Karma, work, association, so like your company, food, and more things influence a mode in us. So do these things basically bring out a predominant mode? Wow. Okay, no one got that wrong.
Yeah.
Well done. Now this is a double points question. Which is the best mode to be in? Passion, ignorance, bhakti, or goodness?
Mhm.
Yep. Well done. There was a bit of confusion there between bhakti
Yeah,
and goodness.
trick question. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
pure goodness.
Another double points question. Pure goodness provides a devoted nature, eternal happiness with the Lord, a better life, or lots of wealth and fame.
Nice.
Well done. Yeah, most of us got that right.
Good.
Another double. Okay, this is the last double points question. What does Satchit Ananda mean?
That's good, man. You mentioned it today.
Transcendental, eternal living bliss, the happiness of the soul, pure goodness, or the nature of the soul? This is another trick question.
Excellent.
Yes.
Oh, only six got it. Okay.
To be fair, it's hard though. I had to
It's
check
hard
out
one.
myself. So the podium, Prathamesh
Well
comes
done.
first, is third, sorry. Lokeshwar is
Good.
second.
Whoa.
And who's first?
Riyansh.
Riyansh. Of course, Riyansh. Well done.
Yeah.
So our runners up are Nimai and Ghazal. Well done, guys.
Oh, well done, Ghazal. Fantastic.
Because I was on the podium until the last question.
You were. I was
You were,
expecting you to
see.
be numbers 2. Yeah.
It's all right, Shri.
But mind you, Ishwari, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pari. That was a really excellent quiz. Now,
Thank you.
Really good. And you made the questions tough and easy as well. So that was good mixture. And Riyansh is going to do chapter 15. He actually already done it. And his questions are quite challenging. So it's going to be interesting next week.
Oh no. Do I have to participate as well, Prabhuji?
Maybe we give some hints, I think. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. I really enjoyed today's session. This was one of the best chapters. I really, really enjoyed this chapter very, very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Take care.
Hare Krishna.
Everybody, take care. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.